Yep, sure enough, it looks like YouTube is freaking out as they're scanning my video for inappropriate material. So you guys are familiar with YouTube. You know that people say, check the links below. Check my links. There's always method in my madness. Alright, birth control. Who is your daddy and what does he do? And the news is boring now that we're in an election year. Alright, birth control. It is the privilege. Oh my God, no! It is not a privilege. It's a natural biological function. But this is what they want to do to us. Controlling our bodies. When to eat, when to sleep, what to watch, when to watch it, what to be educated on. These are all control tactics. And whose plan of happiness is it, Mormons? Who wants to control people's agency? Exactly. Of married couples. See, married couples. It's the privilege of married couples. Do you see what's wrong with that statement? Who are able to bear children. So at least there's some sensitivity there. Okay, who is your daddy and what does he do is finished its thing. Let's check to see. Nope, they're still examining it for inappropriate material. Okay. So let's close this one out and get back with you here. LDS. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Do 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 do. Alrighty. One last check. No. I told you, YouTube's gonna freak out. So they must have replaced the Mormons with a bot system controller that scans for any trigger words. Oh, they said child! Stop the video! Oh my God. But they can't touch me. I'm talking about a religion. This is religious beliefs. They gotta back off because they're entering into discrimination territory. This is privileged conversation. It is the privilege of married couples. Okay, I was going to talk about it in birth control, as I said in the other video. How many babies do you women murder in your lifetime? Now, it varies from woman to woman, doesn't it? Some women murder more than others. How many men out there have murdered babies? Or how many babies have you men murdered? I'll give you a hint, you can't be picking on the women. Because we murder more babies than women do. Far more. Exceedingly far more. It's such a percentage very similar to the amount of percentage that the church gives in charity. So, again, it is not the privilege. Oh my God. I think it's like some kind of thing where, oh, you are now married, now you can magically have children. No! We hit puberty. That's the indication it's time to have a baby. But again, if you're censoring sex ed, if you're preaching abstinence, but here they're trying to use the theology of Mormonism to justify Satan's plan of happiness. Because Satan's plan of happiness is getting everyone into the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. This is what the church is doing here. And like I told you, the church should just have come out from the beginning and said, our church is exclusive to couples. That's it. That's all they had to do. Couples who want to have children. And yes, they're sensitive here. They understand that there are weaknesses in baby creation and problems that develop in life. But they're not going to let me release this, are they? But that's all they had to do. Instead, they're trying to control the whole world. And even though, see, they don't even mention Mormons here, members. It is the privilege of married couples. So they're forcing their theology on those who don't even care about Mormonism, want nothing to do with Mormonism. The church is trying to control everyone. That's Lucifer's plan of happiness. Mortal bodies for his spirit children of God. See, and then we have the controversy over when is a baby a baby? When does it have rights as a human being? And this is where the problems that I did the video of pro-life versus pro-choice, and it shouldn't be pro-choice. It's not about pro-choice, it's about pro-woman. The woman has established rights before she has babies. So the chicken comes first, before the egg. And yet, those who hate women are trying this deception tactic. Oh, baby in the embryo stage. We've got to protect that embryo at all costs. And they completely ignore how many babies they slaughter, whether they're men or women, in their lifetime. They just don't get it. Now, I can understand when a woman has a miscarriage that she feels like she's lost her baby. And maybe it was a miscarriage because of some problems, health problems. But typically, women are capable of having other babies. But yeah, it's sad because you have a relationship with someone you love, and you're hoping to have the token or remembrance of that love that you shared with that special someone in the form of a child that has both you and that person you made love with in one entity. I understand that. But the way the church twists this all around, using Lucifer's plan of salvation, twisting the whole plan of salvation of Mormonism to try to justify controlling all of human behavior, not just Mormon behavior. Because again, all they had to do was say, we are only the church for those who are couples who want to have children for all eternity. And they go say, and says, whom they are then responsible to nurture and rear. And this is what I talked about in the pro-life versus pro-choice, I think, or was it another one? It was in the pro-life, pro-choice. Because a woman who's raped, her rights to life, liberty, and property have all been violated in that single act of criminal behavior. And so, for pro-lifers to say, no, that woman must have the baby, and then she must give up that baby to go to a good Christian home or a good Mormon home for Mormons. And so everybody blames the raped victim, telling her that she's no longer worthy of the child she bears, denying her the opportunity, denying her the option of aborting it. Because that connection you have with someone you love, you want something to show for it in the child, the union of both of you. But a rape? What woman wants to remember her rape? Now I can understand a woman who's a pro-lifer who gets raped and thinks that the baby is innocent. The baby is innocent. But forever you will remember that child as the raped child. The child will grow up going, oh, I'm a child of rape. My mom's taking care of me out of pity. Like I said, our bodies have more than enough children than we can bear in a lifetime. It's okay if we lose a few here and there for women and a few billion here and there for men. In fact, it's more than a few billion. I mean, the amount of babies men slaughter is just unfathomable. I mean, the world, for just, if we used in vitro fertilization that we talked about before, and that's what our authoritarian government decided to do. Oh, they finished processing. So I'm going to have children as the new thing on the upper screen. Come on. Don't pull this stunt on me. There we go. Nope, they didn't do it. Okay. So we got 6 people who have seen the introduction so far. Alright, so say for example, we have this future pre-crime thing. Oh, Krypton. If you saw the 2 seasons of Krypton, so furious they cut it off. We didn't get enough people watching on the season finale of season 2. Anyway, they had a system where the DNA of all the elite Kryptonians were in this data file. It was a created thing that we don't have in existence yet, so I can't remember the term that they used for it. And so when a couple were paired up, the 2 houses were paired up to unite, to have a baby, you'd go and you'd put your finger on the scanner, and it would then unite the DNA of the 2 people to produce a baby. And they would show you the baby and what the baby would become and the health of the baby, all in that one little blood sample. And if they did that for artificial insemination, when girls hit puberty, when boys hit puberty, well, the girls, they clean them out immediately. And then the guys, I hear Japan created a thing that would allow this to occur. If they did that, forcing men to constantly do this on a regular daily basis, and then artificially, well, test tube babies, basically, so that all the babies that could be produced by mankind would be produced, so that not a single sperm, not a single egg would be lost. First of all, there would not be enough eggs to handle the amount of sperm. But if there were, humanity would fill up the earth to where there's no room for humans anymore. That's just putting it in perspective for you. So all of those pro-lifers, they need to get a life and quit messing around with other people's lives. Alright. And the church needs to back off also. The decision as to how many children to have, church used to control this number, and when to have them is extremely intimate and private. Yeah, because everybody complained and forced you to change your policy. It should be left between the couple and the Lord. Oh, yeah, throw in the Lord as a guilt trip. Again, this is pro-lifer church trying to guilt women into having babies the right way, not the wrong way. And again, all the church had to do was just come out and say, we're only for couples, guys. We're not about Christianity and a personal relationship with Jesus. That's all they had to do. And it should, let's see, church members should not judge one another in this matter. Oh, as you are judging here in this statement, the privilege, spirit children, responsible, physical intimacy, sex, come on, say the word with me, S-E-X, F-O-X, between husband and wife is intended, oh, is it intended? To be beautiful and scarred, sacred. See, again, they're using propaganda. If only they would teach sex ed properly in schools and in the church and in the homes. Because sacred means something that is not done in the world. So the sacrament table that's in the chapels, it is sacred only because you don't use it for regular use. What do you use a table for? I'm using a table here for the computer. I have a table that I could use for a kitchen eating on, but I use this desk instead. That's normal use. And so it's not sacred, therefore. Sacred automatically refers to anything that is set apart from normal, everyday activity. That's what holy is. That's what sacred is. It's not some mystical, magical thing that you get all paranoid and freaked out about if somebody, like say a little baby, crawls on top of the sacrament table and gets a crayon and starts coloring. You don't have to freak out. You don't need to pour salt over your shoulder. You don't need to break your mother's back. It's just, I mean, come on, guys. Cut out all the nonsense. And so sex is not sacred. It's a natural process. Everyday use of our biological function, just like eating, just like sleeping, just like going to the bathroom, just like bathing, just like exercise. They're all things our bodies require regularly. It is not something we set apart. When we are wanting to devote ourselves to God, we then sacrifice our normal activities. We go to church rather than going to work. And then all the church would say, oh yeah, but marriage automatically makes it sacred because you're not a natural man, caveman, having sex with everybody. But then you get people all superstitious and paranoid. Teach sex ed. It is ordained of God for the creation of children. Ordained of God? Why don't you just say it was the first commandment in the garden when God created man? Have sex. Have children. Fill the earth. And for the expression of love. No! See, again, they're imposing things on it. Between husband and wife. No, man and woman. See, the whole concept of marriage has been so warped over the millennia that we're all confused about it. Especially in Mormonism. Because the temple ritual of sealing is completely different from the civil marriage. And that's why the church is so freaked out about gay marriage, is because the civil law is taking over religious activities and rituals. And so the church is concerned. If the law allows other marriages than what we want, what do we do? How do we do our genealogy? And so this whole concept of birth control, they don't even talk about condoms and contraception and pills versus IUDs. And they just avoid sex ed altogether. Instead, they're enforcing their control and dominion over Mormons and trying to impose it on others in the world. But yeah, the church used to ban the use of condoms when condoms were first invented. They banned birth control pills when they first were invented. They were like the Catholics at that time. Because if you're taking the birth control pill as a teenage girl, then you're obviously committing sin. Because the righteous Mormon men would never rape you. So, that's the atrocity of this section. This is just horrifying. Oh. 25 minutes. I may not be getting to chastity and fidelity and the others today, just to let you know. It's almost 2 o'clock. And that's where I start paying attention to the news, because the good stuff starts to come up, if there's any good stuff. And I still need to get some stuff done too.